Hey everyone, welcome back to the Dev Lab. In this video, I'll be walking you through on how to create your own user model using Mongoose in Node.js. Now, what is model? A model is where we define how the user data is structured in our database. Like for where you're going to be seeing all the data in your MongoDB, for example, where you're going to be seeing like for our project we are going to be using email, password and so on. Like just the data where your structured data is. So let's dive in. In our last class I taught you guys how to create a server. So we're going to be continuing from where we stopped. So this is our server, this is the server file that we wrote. So for this video I'm going to be creating a new folder for the model, then a new file. I'm going to be calling it model.js. So while that is loading, like in our other class in server, we installed the package JSON Express. So for this model we are going to be creating, we are going to be using Mongoose. Yeah, Mongoose. So same thing, just write, you just change the name to Mongoose, then install. So it is installing like this. So the first thing we're going to be doing is importing our Mongoose, the same way we imported Express in our server file. So I'm going to be importing it now. Okay, so now for those of you who do not know what Mongoose is actually, what it actually means. Mongoose is an ODM, which stands for Object Data Modeling. Now Mongoose is an ODM library for MongoDB. It helps us to define schemas and interact with our database in an easy and structured way. Yeah, so that's just what it means. So next we create a schema for user registration. Now a schema is like a blueprint. Yes, it's like a blueprint. It's a blueprint that defines the structure of our user data in the database. So now we're going to create a schema for user registration. So we're going to be naming it registration schema. So now it's time to define our fields, like where all the data is going to be stored. Yes. So the first field I'm going to be writing now is our username. This is how you write a field. Then you call the type. So this stores the username as a string. That is why we call it string. The next one we're going to be calling is email, the email field. So it's just going to be the same way we wrote our username. Then unique. Now the email field is set to be unique, which means that no two users can have the same email in the database. So like when someone is trying to log in, you can't just use two email addresses like that. So it has to be one specific email you're going to be using for your account, like that, like that. So the unique is going to be set to true. Now true like is a boolean. String is for words like that, like that. So the next field we are going to be writing is password. So it's going to be set to string. Yeah, so that's all. Now for this password, like it's this password, let me just explain what this password means. It stores the user's password. Then later in the while we are authenticating the process, like when the authentication process is going on, we'll make sure to hash it for security. But that will be for the future code we are going to write. Yeah. So the next field I'm going to be writing is verified. So now this is going to be type boolean. Yeah, so if you notice, we've been writing string for almost everything. So now, but this one is going to be boolean because what boolean just consists of is true or false. So what this is verified is just checking is whether is going to be true. Yeah, so let's continue writing our field default. So this field checks if the user has verified their email. It's a boolean that defaults to false, meaning users will have to confirm their email before they can fully access the system. So that's what I said earlier. It just checks whether it's false, it's true or false. Then it will tell you to show you that you're verified already. So this is all for the schema. So next, I'm going to be creating the main model. So this is how we write the code for model. Registration model dot model, your bracket, then your name you're going to be calling it registration, comma. then you're going to call the name that you like for your schema. You're just going to put it over here. So let me just copy and paste it to save time. So you notice that this one was shining a little bit dull. So immediately we just call this one now popped up. So before it was like dull, like as if it not mean anything, but immediately we just called it, it just had meaning. So that's just what it means. So it just creates a model. What we just did here now, we just created a model called registration. This is what we, so it creates a model called registration, which will be used to interact with our users collection in the MongoDB. So this is what we're just going to be using in our MongoDB to be accessing users. So it's time to export it. Now the reason we're exporting it is so that, yeah, it will allow us to use registration model in other part of our project, like our authentication controllers, which we are going to be doing in our future classes. So this is how we export. Yes. Then you're equal to curly brackets, then your registration model. Now just watch this registration model. You see, now it just popped up the same way we called registration schema here. So that's just how it works. So that's how we structure user data in MongoDB using Mongoose. This schema is essential for user authentication, email verification and password management. In the next part of our video, we will connect this to our authentication logic and build out the full system. Please make sure to like and subscribe and stay tuned for more coding tutorials. Thank you.